police are questioning entertainers Sean Puffy Combs and Jennifer Lopez following a shooting at a nightclub.
I had nothing to do with a shooting in this club.
Puff couldn't handle going to jail. Every man for himself.
Puffy got acquitted and he got 10 years.
He was betrayed.
I was absolutely set up to be the fall guy.
Welcome back. That was a clip from the explosive documentary, The Honorable Shyne, coming out on Hulu on November 18th. We are back with Moses Shyne, Barrow, who served nearly 9 years in prison, stemming from that infamous nightclub shooting that changed his life forever. His co-defendant, Sean Combs, was acquitted of all charges. This is an exclusive conversation. That point really stuck out. I never heard you say it.
Yeah.
That you were the fall guy.
Well, that's the interesting thing. I believe that, you know, the power of Diddy, the entertainer, the person that dominated pop culture, was so loud for so long that no one heard myself and my mom and my supporters when we were crying about our lives being destroyed and devastated by Diddy. You look at that, that's one of my first magazine covers. Well, probably my second or my third.
It says hip-hop's most wanted.
And they really didn't mean that I was on the run. They meant that everybody wanted to sign me. So it was like a double entendre.
It was, but then it became. So this is when everyone wanted you.
I was already incarcerated. And they were offering me millions of dollars.
Which you talk about I didn't know that. You're incarcerated, Rikers Island, and there's a bidding war because, as one of the people, I think Nori said in the documentary, that you now had this alleged shooting, this criminal case, and it made you to the music industry authentic, that the industry was looking for that.
Well, I think Nori was talking about the bidding war that took place before I actually signed my first record deal. And then after all of the tragedies befell me and I was incarcerated, I had another pandemonium that took place in the music industry, and Jay-Z was coming to see me in his Maybach on Rikers Island, and Dr. Dre was calling me to sign. So I've been very fortunate to have people after me, but if you read this interview, which came out in, I think, 2001 or 2004. No, I think that's 2004. That's a 2004 interview. But this interview and the interview in 2001, I always said, you know, that Diddy snitched on me, that he threw me under the bus, and that I was a sacrificial lamb. But, you know, that's 26 years ago.
26 years ago.
So people don't remember, and I have moved on. So you asked why. This is more of a celebration than, you know, dancing on Diddy's grave or wanting to even connect myself
in the documentary,
to him.
In the documentary, you used this story, and I thought it was beautiful, about a baby turtle. You see the turtle on the sand, and it's hatched and it's trying to get to the ocean, and if you pick it up, it drowns because its legs aren't strong enough to swim. And you talk about so much of your life, you needed to build up your strength so that you wouldn't drown. Going back to this situation with Sean Combs, you're on the show with me, 2021. I turn on the BET Awards, you're performing with Sean Combs. I said, he's doing a power move, because then I saw the flag of Belize come down.
Right.
And I said, this is not about Bad Boy, this is about him showing the world.
It's about Belize.
But then there's a clip of Sean Combs calling you his brother. And people are questioning the relationship.
I wish I was his brother in 2000 when we were on trial. You know, I wish I was his brother for the last, you know, 26 years when, you know, my mom, who is here with me, never got any assistance. He never helped to dry her tears.
Why did you agree to go on with him at the BET?
Because I moved on. So you don't live in those spaces. The documentary was very, the documentary was very emotionally draining. But part of what I owe to your audience, which is like one of the most lit, is that what the young people say? the most lit.
He said the audience, I said they came because they want to hear you.
You guys are incredible.
They're incredible.
This is like, I've done Madison Square Garden, Nassau Coliseum, BT, the walkout is incredible. You guys had me.
Because I think one of the things about my audience, the Tamron, they want to know the truth. They play no games.
And that's why the documentary had to take me back to those places. Because you can't tell the story. You can't say, hey, Shyne is the next Prime Minister of Belize. He's the opposition leader of the House of Representatives in Belize, and he's done this great turnaround without showing all of the failures, without showing all of the torture, without showing all of the pitfalls. You have to show everything.
So, you were in Belize, and the news broke of this video involving Sean Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura.
Yeah.
She'd filed a lawsuit, an explosive lawsuit. The world started to hear these details. At the time you posted on your social media, I vehemently denounced the repugnant behavior of Sean Combs. I want absolutely nothing to do with the people who engage in this pattern of diabolical behavior. My prayers are with Cassie and all of the victims. And then there was a federal lawsuit that was filed by a producer who claimed that Sean Combs had gone around bragging about bribing witnesses and jurors. The victim that night at the nightclub shooting, Natanya Rubin, has always said it was Sean Combs who shot her. Mm-hmm. You have always said you were innocent.
Yes.
You have never said Sean Combs fired the gun. Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, I didn't see him fire the gun, and I'm not going to lie. Certainly, even if I don't believe in getting my friends in trouble, but at this point, I'm not going to make up anything to sensationalize my narrative because I don't feel I need to do that. If Diddy was not in, if Diddy was not incarcerated right now, my story would still be incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Right? The entire intent of the documentary was to celebrate life. And the problem I think some of us as human beings have is we want sunshine without rain. You know, we don't appreciate the perfection of balance, right? You see, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. That's balance, and that's what we need in our lives. And so the complexity of evolution is going through all these different spots and then getting to the point where I'm at right now where I don't hate anyone. I don't blame anyone. No, I don't feel any joy. You know, I go to Brooklyn every day to use the mikveh. And I don't feel happy like, oh, you know, Diddy's in federal custody. You know, I prefer God to make me a multi-billionaire and grow the GDP. Grow the GDP of Belize to 100 billion and allow me to do amazing things for the people in Belize as the next prime minister. That's my karma. That's what I pray to God for. Someone's failure could never, ever, ever make me succeed. Yeah.
Sean Combs has always maintained his innocence in the nightclub shooting. We reached out to Sean Combs' lawyer for a statement, did not hear back, but you did hear from him. He called you in the documentary. At some point, you say, after the lawsuits were filed, he reached out to you to, and I'm paraphrasing here, make sure you were on the same page.
Yeah.
What did that mean?
Well, just back to the BET Awards. That was a legacy moment. And I'm a professional. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to do it. But he said, listen, this is about Belize, you know. Imagine this platform, this stage that you're going to have. And it's so true. It was about Belize. It was about the legacy of hip-hop. Because what we don't want to do is we don't want to tear down hip-hop and its contributions to this planet. So everybody makes mistakes. Yeah. The justice system is going to determine who is innocent and who is guilty. And may the victims get justice. And if people are innocent, may they get justice. So I can't live my life in a hindsight of, well, had I known the things that were happening around this individual, because I was incarcerated for 10 years. Then I was deported for another 13 years. So I had nothing to do with Sean Combs' life other than what he did to me, which is when I said he destroyed my life. So, of course, going to one of the biggest award show, and the only term of agreement was that it had to be about Belize. And as you saw, that flag, listen, there are people in Belize that hate me because of politics. And they said, man, you know what? for that moment, we loved you. So that was very important. Now, as far as when Diddy got, I don't even think it was an indictment, it was when the video came out. And when the video came out...
Of the abuse
with
of
Cassie and everything, and they asked me about him. You know, they try to make it seem as if like he and I had this fairy tale brotherhood and he was there for me. And I keep having to put it into context without spitting on someone's grave that, you know, this is the person that destroyed my life. You hear my mom, she probably start crying when she comes on this couch because when people ask, do you think that he did those things? Well, I know what he did to my family. And so the potential is there. As I said, he was just such a master of PR that he is so loud that people never hear the victims. So when the victim in this case, when it was clear what happened, I have a responsibility to Belize. I have a responsibility to my daughter. I have a responsibility to all the women in my life and all of the men as well and people that look up to me to condemn things that are not acceptable. And even if you're my brother, I have to tell you when you're wrong. Even if we're friends, I have to tell you when you're wrong. And so when he called me, and then also at this time, the Little Rod suit came out where he was allegedly bragging that, you know, he shot up the club and he made me take the fall, which, again, I didn't see him shooting, but it's not unbelievable, right? I was focused on trying to defend myself. So when that happened, that triggered me. So I moved on and I healed. But when you hear someone, you know, high or on drugs or whatever state of mind they were in to be bragging about shooting up a club and having someone else take the fall, I know that to be true partially. I didn't see him shooting, but I know he made me take the fall. I know that he called witnesses to testify against me. We sat here and I said, please don't call that witness. That witness is going to destroy me and the witness is lying. So I had to tell that truth when the media in Belize asked me about it. This is one of the first interviews I'm doing outside of Belize. And as the opposition leader of Belize, I have to be transparent, I have to be accessible to the media. And there's always this one sensationalist journalist, his name is Jules Vasquez. He hates all politicians and asks the worst questions. So while I'm talking about the state of the nation, he'll ask me about Diddy.
So this is why you've had to,
So that's why you see those sound bites, because I don't care to talk about him. I care about public policy, public administration, healthcare, citizen security, education.
So let me ask you.
But in that call, I had to tell him, I said, listen, when you know that we haven't been all good. You know that there was a point where I hated you and I thought that you were the devil. But, you know, we moved on and I healed and I embraced you in the name of Belize, in the name of healing. But when I hear this gentleman saying that you're bragging about shooting up the club and having me take the fall, and then people get arrested based on the testimony that this gentleman gave in his litigation, it triggered me. And you know...
That's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
I knew it had to.
Yeah.
You've moved on. You're in this high place. You have a beautiful daughter, a family, your mother. And then this lawsuit comes out and you hear that this person allegedly was bragging. It would trigger anyone.
Yeah.
But what is remarkable about you is that even in that moment, you have reset.